Many of us have tried our hand at growing veggies and herbs and somehow failed dismally along the way. And I know we all want to do it in a healthy, responsible way because obviously we're growing it and we are going to consume it. So today I'm going to share with you a few tips on how to grow it healthy and in that way actually improving the way that you garden. So when we think of a veggie garden, most of us think of the typical farmer look. Straight rows, neat rows, like little soldiers. Well, folks, that's not really the best way. Now, this garden that you're looking at, believe it or not, is a veggie garden, but it's a bit wild, and that's the way we love it. So there's a mustard here. We've got a nasturtium doing its thing. There's a rocket that's busy bolting at the front there, full of flower. So you're getting the idea. It's a whole lot of different plants combined together. And that is the opposite to what farmers do. And we call this diversity. We call this interplanting. And linked to that is also companion planting. Now, if you want to know more about companion planting, please refer to the companion planting clip where we go into great detail about it. Now, this bed is quite established. It's really at its prime right now, but let me show you what it looks like or what a bed would look like when recently planted. You can see here's the little nasturtium that we popped in. There's the mustard, there's a lettuce over there. So nothing is in rows, folks. By doing this, we're doing a couple of things. Number one, we're increasing diversity, biodiversity. There's not 6 cabbages in 1 square meter. We've got 6 different plants in 1 square meter. Now, that does a couple of things. Number one, it's going to encourage different pollinators to come along and bring them into the garden. And of course, we need those. We've also done something else. Now, of course, a nasturtium plant needs slightly different nutrition to what a mustard plant will need. Some are top crops and some are bottom crops, which means that these plants all require different nutrition. And by that, we are not putting strain on the soil. So we often hear the word soil health. Well, soil health is not only about how we're planting, but it's also about how we treat it. And that comes down to this beautiful stuff here. Now, folks, we know that in nature, you very rarely find bare soil, and we call it mulching. And this here is some ordinary straw. Guys, it can be done with your homemade compost. It can be done with leaves, and it simply could be done with vegetative matter that you've cut from the garden, but put something on the soil. It protects the soil from when you get heavy rains. Not only that, but it also regulates the temperature of the soil. And what's also important that when we do this, that the hohos that are underneath here are not going to get baked by the beating sun. So this mulching thing also leads us to the next way of gardening, and it's called the no-dig gardening method. So that means that we never turn beds. We never go along with the fork and turn and turn and turn and turn before planting. Absolutely not. We've got this beautiful layer of mulch, and the only time you will actually be getting in here and working the soil is when you're going to be planting. The other thing I'm going to encourage you to do is to always choose organic. So whether you are using a fertilizer, use an organic fertilizer, because what that is going to do, it's not going to put strain on the soil. There are going to be no residues left in it, and 99% of the time you're going to encourage really, really good, beneficial hohos in your soil by adding in organic fertilizers. The other thing is to look at how you can feed the soil, and we feed the soil in various ways. By using beneficial fungus like Root Pro from EcoBuzz, which is a trichoderma, which when added to the soil encourages plant and root health. And of course, folks, the world is not perfect. And even although you are using all these different methods and applying them into your veggie garden, you might get 1 or 2 pests coming along to chomp on your beautiful plants. If this is the case, I ask you to be responsible. I ask you to use organic options and organic alternatives, which at the end of the day is going to keep this ecosystem of yours happier and healthier, both for you and your garden. Well, folks, there are some tips and advice on how you can grow happier, healthier veg. So to help you get started, remember all your organic supplies are available from your local builders, either in-store or online. Also check out the blog where you can learn more ways to become a healthier, better gardener, both for you and your garden. Get to Builders and get it done.